of diesel fuel overturned in downtown Norfolk.
I'm Yvonne Simon. Some West Coast pilots here on a pit stop from Desert Storm learned they may no longer have a home base.
We'll hear from former President Nixon, who says Saddam Hussein should be assassinated.
And the April 15th tax filing deadline sent some taxpayers scurrying for help a day early. Good evening, I'm Jan Callaghan.
And I'm Kurt Williams. Join us for the complete report up next on News 3.
Heard what's happening? McDonald's prices. An original hamburger's just 59 cents, a cheeseburger just 69 cents, and a sausage biscuit 79 cents. This is not a promotion. This is McDonald's today and from now on.
The best deal going just got better. Toyota Motor Credit Corporation now offers 6.9% APR financing and no payments for 90 days for qualified buyers. So don't wait. This special offer is available now exclusively at your Hampton Roads Toyota dealer. 6.9% APR financing and no payments for 90 days. Every new Toyota model qualifies, including 1990 models. So don't wait. This is a limited time offer from Toyota Motor Credit Corporation. Hurry. See your Hampton Roads Toyota dealer today before your best deal is gone.
At Farm Fresh, we're always looking for ways to give you more value for your money. Take our Fresh Express program. By eliminating the middleman and buying direct from the growers, we give you better fruits and vegetables faster than ever. And by eliminating that expensive middleman, we can sell them to you for 15 to 30% less than other stores. How about them apples?
I'm living in the sweet Virginia breeze.
From the eastern shore to the Outer Banks and all of Hampton Roads. Kurt Williams, Jan Callaghan, Brian Hill with Doppler weather, and Bob Rathbun on sports. This is WTKR-TV's News 3 at 11.
Some tense moments in downtown Norfolk. A tanker truck carrying 7,500 gallons of diesel fuel overturned on a city street near a storm drain.
A two-block area was shut down for several hours as a host of rescue and emergency workers were called in, prepared for a worst-case scenario. It happened around 8 this morning. It was rainy, and the driver of the truck apparently took the turn from Bush Street onto Brambleton Avenue a bit too fast. One of the first on the scene was Officer D.G. Collins. When you got here and you saw this, what was your reaction?
Any place narcotics on the air?
Major concern was what was in the tank and getting the ball rolling as far as the right people here.
It wasn't long before several units from the Norfolk Fire Department responded, along with a Chesapeake foam truck, the Coast Guard, and Virginia Department of Emergency Services. Norfolk fire officials are just thankful that it was diesel fuel that was involved in this mess and not gasoline, which is much more volatile. Still, there was a serious environmental threat.
Because we've got a storm drain right next to where the truck has overturned, and we've got had the potential, not now because we've got about half the product off, but we had the potential for over 7,000 gallons to possibly get into the water system.
Removing the fuel from the overturned truck to another tanker was an all-day operation.
Due to the nature of the product and not wanting to have a spill or make it any worse than it is, we wanted to take our time and do it right.
And it had to be done before the truck could be lifted off its side. So for several hours, traffic was rerouted around the accident, which had a few spectators trying to get a closer look.
I just like watching and stuff like that, and I just enjoy it. And I think it's interesting and exciting.
With fire hoses ready just in case, and some 8 hours after it overturned, the tanker was slowly pulled upright. The owner of the tanker is DSI Transports Incorporated of Chesapeake. The driver received minor injuries. About 100 gallons of fuel did spill from the truck. Nearly all of that was recovered from the scene.
A Virginia Beach man died early this morning when he lost control of his motorcycle. Vincent E. Small of Red Oak Court was pronounced dead at the scene in the 3000 block of Holland Road. Police say Small was traveling southbound when the accident occurred around 2 o'clock this morning. A Chesapeake man died early this morning outside a home in the 5000 block of Blackwater Drive in Virginia Beach. 47-year-old Edward Worrells, Jr. of Galbosh Road in Chesapeake was shot to death by the occupant of the house in Virginia Beach. According to police, the occupant thought he heard an intruder, went outside, and then shot the victim around 3:15 this morning. Police have not released further details on the incident.
The Oceana Air Base is a pit stop tonight for 5 West Coast aircraft returning from Operation Desert Storm. The EA-6B Prowlers, cousin to the A-6 Intruder, are home-based at the Whidbey Island Naval Air Base in Washington. News 3's Yvonne Simon says the 20-man crew has just learned their home base may soon no longer be home.
When Hampton Roads base pilots flew attack missions over Iraq and Desert Storm, the EA-6B Prowlers, part of the America Battle Group, flew with them. Their mission, confuse the enemy with technology.
Our job was to jam the radars and to use the HARM missiles to take care of the enemy radars, and I think that's what we did.
The pilots counted the anti-radar missiles launched as faithfully as they counted the days until their feet touched home ground.
Sir? I know you're not all the way home yet, but welcome home.
Well, thank you very much,
Back
sir.
to USA, right?
It's great to be here. Tim Miller, sir.
The ultimate destination for the 20-man squadron is Whidbey Island Naval Base in Washington, which is on Defense Secretary Dick Cheney's list for base closings. Bad news for returning pilots.
Just a terrific place, and it's a great opportunity to be stationed there. And I was looking forward to spending the rest of my career there. So if we move, we move. But it'd be sad to see Whidbey close.
Well, that's unfortunate. There's an awful lot of money and airplanes in that area of the country, and I don't think it's necessarily over right now.
A congressional committee will scrutinize Cheney's list in the coming month. Whether Whidbey Island escapes closing isn't what's on the mind of the men right now.
My wife had a little baby right before we split, and I saw him like for one day before we took off, so I'm looking forward to meeting my son.
The Prowlers don't mind the small reception here. They have a great big celebration just waiting for them to fly into Washington on Tuesday. At the Oceana Air Station, Yvonne Simons, News 3.
The final withdrawal of American combat troops from southern Iraq began today. U.S. officers say American warplanes will remain in the air to protect the troops pulling out. Defense Secretary Dick Cheney said today that refugees in southern Iraq will be allowed to pull back with U.S. troops to a buffer zone. Food and water will be provided. For the refugees to the north fleeing Iraq near the Turkish border, more help has arrived. American, British, and French aircraft dropped tons of relief supplies. And at a refugee camp in Turkey, the first U.S. troops arrived to help put up shelters and provide first aid. Meanwhile, Kurdish rebel leaders say they have inflicted heavy casualties on Iraqi troops trying to push into rebel-held mountains of northern Iraq. The rebels say the Iraqis are trying to cut off escape routes for the refugees.
Nonetheless, Kurds who fled Iraq fearing revenge after their month-long rebellion have been told they can come home without fear of reprisals. All that is, except for murderers, rapists, and thieves. President Saddam Hussein delivered the message Saturday in the Kurdish town of Erbil, his first visit to the region since the rebellion was crushed last month. Saddam said he had ordered security agents to leave ordinary Kurds alone, saying they had nothing to fear, even if they had been caught up in the revolt. The Iraqi leader, who has promised moves toward democracy, said the time has come to make a new start. Former President Richard Nixon has his own opinions about Saddam Hussein's next moves. The former commander-in-chief, in an interview on 60 Minutes tonight, said if he were still president, he would not hesitate to order the Iraqi president's assassination because he fears Saddam will again become a threat to peace, perhaps within as little as 5 years.
If I could find a way to get him out of there, even putting a contract out on him, if the CIA still did that sort of a thing, assuming it ever did, I would be for it.
Barring Saddam's ouster by coup or revolution, Nixon said he would justify the assassination to stop him from resurrecting the country's decimated army forces.
In Italy, environmentalists are hoping to avoid a disaster bigger than Alaska's Exxon Valdez oil spill. Following a final explosion, a fire-ravaged tanker holding some 40 million gallons of oil sank today off the Italian Riviera. It appears to have remained intact, and it's believed most of the vessel's crew remains inside. However, patches of oil have washed ashore on several stretches of beach. The tanker's explosions and fires first erupted last Thursday.
Well, the weather continued to go downhill this weekend. Can we expect that to turn around this week? Brian Hill can help us answer that question in First Weather. Brian.
I think sometime this week, yes. Unfortunately, as you can see, things are still kind of damp along the entire eastern seaboard in the form of some isolated showers. This cold front from Kentucky and Tennessee right down to Louisiana eventually will be moving our way too, so there's some rain in the forecast as far as that's concerned. Overnight, some fog, some showers and spots. Gray tomorrow, some sun peeking out, a tanning index of only 3. 72 in the beaches though, 77 inland. Unfortunately, the chance of an afternoon thunderstorm. The details later.
Thanks, Brian. Still to come on News 3, to be or not to be. Did someone become a millionaire in last night's lotto drawing?
And last-minute tax filers rush a local tax preparing service. Those stories when we return.
Gentlemen, start your engines. For a limited time only, Merchant's Tire is rolling out some pretty incredible deals. And they're off! Now through April 27th at Merchant's, it's a great Uniroyal tire rebate. Get a $50 rebate after the purchase of 4 of the top-of-the-line Tiger Paws or Rally Performance radials. And Merchant's guarantees to begin mounting your tires in 29 minutes or less. But you'll have to hurry if you want to catch this deal.
Merchant's Tire and Auto Centers. For service that you trust. Guaranteed.
Bad news. Automotive sales are way down. Good news. The Hampton Roads Honda dealer sales are up. What does that tell you? It tells you that the Hampton Roads Honda dealers are delivering value now. Prices have never been lower than right now on America's best-selling automobile at your Hampton Roads Honda dealer. So get on down and drive the good news home. See your Hampton Roads Honda dealer today. Exceptional dealers for exceptional cars.
If you start any remodeling project without planning carefully, you could be left in the dark.
Honey?
So let the Enlightened Remodeling Video light the way. It will guide you through everything from choosing a contractor to creating the beauty of a home lit by window light. The Enlightened Remodeling Video, just $2.95 at Anderson Window Center stores.
Available at Quality Window and Door and Franklin Building Materials.
How intense is the new Anaconda roller coaster at King's Dominion? Let's just say it's enough to put a few gray hairs on you.
Get King's Dominion $5 coupons at People's Drugstores.
The April 15th tax deadline is once again rearing its ugly head. Many taxpayers who owe Uncle Sam will put off the inevitable until tomorrow. But there are some who decided to take the plunge a little early. It may have been a day of rest for some, but at Audrey Meyer's Income Tax Service, the word rest doesn't even figure into the vocabulary at this time of year.
My last day off was back in the first half of March. I've been working 7 days a week, opening to closing.
Some last-minute filers took advantage of the weekend to get the dreaded job done. Daryl Bernabello's taxes are part personal, part business, a first-time experience.
So I didn't know actually how to set it up. So I'm let Audrey here go ahead and straighten it out.
And many don't know what the final tax bill will be.
I'm adding up the pennies as I go because the figure's different. Uncle Sam said one thing and I say something else. But he's always right.
The Internal Revenue Service expects to receive 27 million returns at its 10 processing centers this week alone. And of those returns already processed, nearly 80% have qualified for refunds. That leaves a lot of those who still owe Uncle Sam. At this date, Myers is pushing for clients to file for an